And CEO of Otoy. Jules, thanks for joining us. Explain exactly what you do.
So Otoy's background is in visual effects and even video games. And we've been bringing artists and content creators tools for over a decade, whether they're small artists, individual artists that are graduating into motion graphics, or the big studios like Disney. We've been giving them the tools to make CG and beautiful content, at speeds that are 10 to 100 times faster than you could do a decade ago. And that has also led to the creation of a lot of art like Beeple's that allowed him to do every day. He would do a new piece of art every single day with our software, post it on Instagram. And that really led to that giant piece of artwork that sold at Christie's for $70 million.
But how is it really worth $70 million?
Well, I think like all art, it's in the eye of the beholder. And what you have with digital art and NFTs is you have a contract between the artist that created the piece and the collector that's buying it. And because the blockchain itself is as immutable, really, as atoms and matter, right? The concept of having the artist give you that art is what's valuable. And I think there's a generation of collectors and artists that recognize that value. And I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's only going to get bigger because it's easier in some ways to prove that you own a piece of art, where it came from, how it was traded, than it ever has been in the physical world.
When you provide, Jules, these services to people like Beeple, is it a fee for service that he pays to use your software, or do you have a percentage exposure to the pieces of art that he creates?
We have a pretty simple model, $20 a month, a little bit like Adobe's Photoshop, and artists get all of our tools. When they're actually using our software to render on the blockchain, which is part of how you authenticate that your NFT was created, with our tools by the author, that's something that we take about a 5% transaction fee on. But for the most part, most artists are paying that $20 a month. Most recently, though, we put the entire software suite on the App Store, and Apple featured that, and it was the #1 app. So we imagine that we're testing the waters with a free version that would be powered entirely by usage fees. And with Apple's featuring of our app, we've seen a huge influx of artists come on board our tools just this month.
So forgive me for following up. Did you get a cut of Beeple's $69 million or not?
No. That went off to Beeple, and that's how it should be. I mean, we're providing the tools and the software to create it. And should future NFTs, though, that are rendered on the blockchain entirely, and these are a whole new class of NFTs that Beeple and I have been working towards for months, then we would get that 5% fee. But we're not at that point yet. And this is the Wild West of NFTs. We're in the Napster days. So there's a lot still to be done, and we see our role in that expanding as that progresses.
Well, so you call it the Napster days. That's sort of where I wanted to go, Jules. A lot of people think this is a massive bubble fueled by speculation. It's going to end really badly. And a lot of people think this is the future and the early days of the internet. Yeah. How sustainable do you think it is? From your vantage point, where does this go?
So I think there's a lot of bad stuff that could be happening in the NFT space that is just not legitimate. I mean, we had an artist that created a piece of work. It was taken from his website, resold as an NFT for $2K. But for verified art and top artists and authentic creators like Beeple, Pack, who also uses our software and is going on Sotheby's shortly, there is a huge future, and that's not going away. So I think that as I said, it's sort of in the Napster days. There's a lot of cleaning up to do, but I think that will happen quickly, and I feel that the future is huge for NFTs. It's going to be bigger, I think, than anything that sort of happened in the physical world before for art. That's where I see it heading.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.